What if America collapsed tomorrow? 10 cities would be the first to fall. It's not a question of strength, but a stark reality of math. Population, geography, and infrastructure create a survival equation that just doesn't add up. Imagine New York City, 19 million people trapped on islands. Or Phoenix, with 5 million residents relying on a river that's rapidly drying up. Think about Miami, where over 6 million people live just inches above rising sea levels, or Houston, with 7 million in the direct path of catastrophic floods and potential petrochemical disasters. The truly terrifying part? When just one of these cities collapses, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It triggers a chain reaction, pulling at least 3 more down with it. Today, we're not spreading fear. We're analyzing infrastructure. We'll map out the 10 most fragile American cities, revealing the hidden choke points, the only viable escape routes, and the domino effect that could topple entire regions. Subscribe now, and let's uncover the truth. What happens when the system breaks? This isn't a movie. This is a map of the 10 most fragile cities in America, the real escape routes, the choke points, and the chain reactions that could pull entire regions down. This isn't about fear. It's about infrastructure. Number 10. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, with over 6 million people in its metro area. As a symbolic and strategic target, its electrical grids are fragile. Its urban core is congested, and its escape routes are dangerously limited. A failure here triggers a cascade, pulling down Arlington, Alexandria, and even Baltimore. Number 9. The San Francisco Bay Area, home to 4.6 million people trapped on a peninsula. The city's famous bridges become traps in a crisis. Its extreme earthquake vulnerability and total dependence on water piped from the Sierra Nevada mountains make it a powder keg. If the bridges go, Oakland, San Jose, and Fremont are isolated and fall with it. Number 8. Chicago, the heart of the Midwest, with 9.4 million people. Imagine a brutal Chicago winter without power. The city is completely dependent on external food supplies. As the central hub of the region, if Chicago fails, the entire Midwest grinds to a halt, taking cities like Naperville and Aurora down with it. Number 7. New Orleans, a metro of 1.25 million people living in a bowl, with half the city below sea level. Its levees are at critical thresholds. The flood pumps that keep the city dry are useless without power. During a hurricane, there is only one real escape route, Interstate 10, and it would fail almost instantly. Number 6. Houston. Over 7 million people living in one of America's largest flood basins. The city's design, a concrete sprawl built on bayous, means there's nowhere for the water to go. Add in the risk of petrochemical plant explosions and storm surges, and you have a recipe for disaster. Evacuation routes like I-45 and I-10 would be gridlocked and useless. Number 5. Los Angeles, a sprawling metropolis of nearly 13 million people that imports every single drop of its water from hundreds of miles away. The complex highway system is notorious for gridlock even on a good day. With zero local water security and constant earthquake risk, a crisis could lock down the entire basin, causing a domino effect through Long Beach, Anaheim, and Riverside. Number 4. Las Vegas, a glittering mirage in the desert, home to 2.3 million people. Here's the terrifying reality. 90% of its water comes from a single source, Lake Mead, which is now dangerously close to empty. Surrounded by desert with extreme heat, the city relies on over 40,000 truckloads of food delivered daily. If that supply line breaks, the city collapses. The main escape artery, I-15, would become a parking lot. Number 3. Miami, a coastal metro of 6.2 million people, much of it just inches above sea level. But the real problem isn't just flooding from the ocean. South Florida is built on porous limestone. During a flood, water doesn't just come over the walls, it rises up from the ground itself. With only 3 main evacuation roads for millions of people, this peninsula becomes a bottleneck. Number 2. Phoenix, a metro of 5 million people in the middle of a desert, with no major river. The city survives entirely on water pumped from the dwindling Colorado River and other strained sources. In summers that regularly top 115 degrees, a power grid failure means no air conditioning and no water pumps. Phoenix becomes the largest heat trap in American history. It shares its failing water system with Las Vegas, creating a regional time bomb. And now, the single most fragile city in America. Number 1. New York City, The city itself has 8.8 million people, but the full metro area is a staggering 19.6 million. And nearly all of them are trapped on islands and peninsulas. The city relies on 120 major bridges and tunnels. The moment the grid goes down, every single artery locks solid. 12,000 daily truck deliveries stop. Water, pumped through a century-old aqueduct system, ceases to flow. With no natural escape routes, the world's densest coastal city becomes a trap. The collapse would be immediate, taking Newark, Jersey City, and all of Long Island with it. Within 48 hours, the chain reaction would consume Philadelphia and the entire Northeast corridor. It's not a question of if, but of how fast. This is the hidden fragility of our modern world. Did you know that the collapse of just 10 American cities could trigger a nationwide chain reaction? We're talking about a domino effect that could take down 38 neighboring cities, cripple 5 major megaregions, and sever 3 continental corridors. It starts with places like Arlington, Alexandria, and Baltimore. Once one city fails, its neighbors often collapse under the sudden weight of refugees, grid failures, and sheer resource panic. America doesn't fall because one place breaks. It falls because every single city depends on every other city. Once that first domino drops, the rest have no time to react. The chain reaction is swift and brutal. But here's the crucial part: there are exceptions. There are places that could survive not because they're lucky, but because their geography protects them. We've analyzed the data to identify the safest zones in America. We looked at everything: water security, elevation, low population pressure, renewable power potential, and natural migration barriers. What did we find? Places like the Idaho Panhandle, western Montana, and eastern Washington stand out. So do northern Minnesota and rural Maine. What do these areas have in common? Low population. A low population means more water, more resources, more silence, and most importantly, more time. In a nationwide collapse scenario, time is the only real currency of survival. It's the one thing that allows you to think, to plan, and to act. If you want to see the full breakdown, including the maps, the logic behind our choices, the migration math we used, and the definitive list of all 10 safest regions in the United States, we've put it all in another video. It's the strategic counterpart to this one. Go watch the 10 safest zones in America during a nationwide collapse next. If you appreciate collapse science without the fear and panic, focusing only on the data, the maps, and the truth, then subscribe to 0 Hour Atlas. We don't predict doom. We just map reality. Thanks for watching.